Good morning and welcome to Morning Joe. Good morning and welcome to Morning Joe. We got a lot going on. As we launch into the weekend, we have so many developing stories.
The First Amendment is an essential pillar of our democracy.
It has enabled us to have the concepts of freedom, real freedom.
Free speech is difficult sometimes, it can be challenging, but it is good and necessary in itself.
This is a time when good journalism matters more than at any time I can remember in my career.
There have to be people out there speaking truth to power.
What Joe and Mika have done with Morning Joe is to create a forum that sets the day up for anybody who cares about public affairs. It's the place people go to express the ideas that are going to be decisive during that next day, that next news cycle.
More people will die in America by guns this year and next than died in a decade in Vietnam. If you are a gun activist, you are lied to all the time, and you are told that having military-style weapons or assault-style weapons are your constitutional right, that it's embedded in the Second Amendment, it's embedded in the Constitution. It is not.
Enemies of the First Amendment want us to self-censor. And I think that Joe and Mika, we can certainly see there has been no self-censorship.
Senator, is it fair to say the president has not told the truth at times on any level, on anything?
This interview has to stop in its tracks until I just get a yes-no answer from you on whether you believe it's important that Americans find out whether their president believes that climate change is a conspiracy theory based out of China.
Mika often talks about the importance of sticking to your gut and not being afraid to speak your mind.
I'm done with the Paris Hilton story. At this point, those briefings are useless. She's the one protecting a president who watches TV every day and tweets stupidity, lies. You have been fighting so hard for free speech so you can write some of the most astounding things I've ever read in my life over the past few decades, and yet you won't give them a moment to use their voices. That's cruel hypocrisy.
What's wonderful about the show is that you can go on and say anything about anyone. And Joe generally does.
The President of the United States making every one of his spokespeople out to be liars. If you're an audience and John McCain's getting attacked and he's fighting for his life, all right, unless you were raised in a barn, keep your mouth shut. Millennials, you just had $1.5 trillion stolen from you. And over the next 10 years, they're going to steal another $10 trillion. And then you're going to be left holding the bill. This is completely reckless, and I could not find one person inside the White House, and I spoke to many this weekend, that defended Donald Trump.
This show started 10 years ago with the premise that it would be a place where intelligent people could speak their minds and disagree in a way that was civil and would enhance civil debate.
The honor and the responsibility of journalists are more important than ever before. And I think Joe and Mika in their morning show, collaborating with a group of people who talk with them continually, have kept up that tradition.
There was nothing like Morning Joe before. A lot of us thought this was a crazy idea. They're going to sit around a table. They're going to just like talk.
That's what we tell our kids to take a chance.
They created something genuinely new, yet in a way genuinely old. It was like a sort of community gathering where people get together and talk about the news. In an intelligent, sort of probing, and often very brave way.
Republicans just don't care about the debt when they're the ones in the White House jacking it up.
Almost every small town has a group of men and women who every day get together and talk politics.
The cat dragged in something.
Yeah,
Cat dragged in
we didn't have to.
What Joe and Mika have done with Morning Joe is just taken that tradition and expanded it. And they can be argumentative as well and not always agree with what they hear on Morning Joe, but at least they're involved and they're a part of it.
Well, let me say to everybody, very humble.
He says thank
you so much.
Barack Obama's victory, and there is the picture of President Obama.
This is a great Blanken show, isn't it?
The operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
The president not being afraid to engage in what was really a high-risk operation. On the 20th, it was Trump's crowd, and it was a decidedly red state American crowd. And then on the 21st, just the opposite.
Mika, you are a good role model for women who show that you can take a licking and keep on ticking.
We need to find our voices. Stop apologizing. Raise your voice when you need to, but always own it.
Just keep doing what you're doing. You're trying to help America every time you tell a truth on TV.
And what is Aleppo?
You're kidding.
No.
And I think the life of the Republic is better for what Mika and Joe are doing.
You guys got the morning thing down.
It is what everybody I know in Washington is listening to and watching.
The level of stamina it takes is just phenomenal, and to be on top of the issues, to keep going morning after morning, hats off to you.
I'm tired of being tired. Are you tired of being tired? I think it's a different thing, though.
I've been tired of being tired for a long time.
Wake up at 3:30 tired of being tired.
Of all the things that I do, I get probably more feedback from an appearance on your show than any other.
I think we can call it their indelible contribution. I don't think morning TV will ever be the same again.
Donald, you're not going to keep talking. We will go to break. If you keep talking, we're going to ask you questions. All right, go to break.
It takes courage and it takes conviction to show up every morning and talk about what you believe and what you see. You take an awful lot of grief on instruments like Twitter, but to do it consistently, day in, day out, without fear, and mostly without favor, is quite an accomplishment.
But there is one great shortcoming. You've got the worst bagels I have ever seen in my life. Come on, guys. You're a big hit. You're a big success. Let's beef up the breakfast in the morning, okay?